Welcome to Live Interactive English. My name is Winnie.
Hello everybody, my name is Shane, and today we're looking at something, the title called How to Battle Brain Rot.
Ooh, the dreaded brain rot.
There's like a rotten brain? Like the brain,
We are talking about zombies today.
We're talking about zombies, I like zombies.
Just kidding.
But people are becoming more and more like zombies. It's more like this.
Yeah, exactly. So when we are talking about brain rot, we're not talking about literally people whose brains are rotting, which usually when we're watching Hollywood movies that talk about brain rotting, it's usually a zombie apocalypse. But in this case, we are talking about something more modern.
This is really having to do with our social media consumption.
Yeah.
So do you use a lot of social media? Are you constantly on social media? Because you might be a contender for brain rot.
Everyone knows that I'm a big reader. But in the breaks where I'm reading, I gotta scroll.
When you're not reading?
When I'm not reading.
You start to scroll.
For example, I finish a chapter, I reward myself with a little TikTok action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
Oh, okay. I don't really use social media very often. Yeah, I think I've outgrown it.
I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to say anything about age here or generations. We'll just say that I prefer to spend my time with higher quality things, in my opinion.
Okay.
But anyway, we're going to find out all about brain rot coming up right now.
In 2024, Oxford University Press chose brain rot as its word of the year. But what does brain rot mean, and how does it affect us? The first recorded use of brain rot is found in Henry David Thoreau's 1854 book, Walden. In the book, brain rot refers to a general decline in mental effort among the population. However, in today's digital age, the term usually refers to the low-value content that is typically found on social media.
All right, so how to battle brain rot, part 1.
Okay, let's get it started. In 2024, Oxford University Press chose brain rot as its word of the year. But what does brain rot mean, and how does it affect us? So every year they kind of choose a word that kind of sums up our society. Something that it might not be something very scientific or scholarly, but it could just be, hey, this year this was something really...
A word that really was out there and people are using. It's kind of new, it's trendy. It's maybe a word that wasn't a word that was used or word or phrase and that was used in that much in past years, but it's become more of a hot word recently. Okay, so it's been chosen as word of the year. Okay, the first recorded use of brain rot is found in Henry David Thoreau's 1854 book, Walden.
So it's not a new phrase.
So brain rot, all the way back in 1854, we're talking like almost 200 years ago. In the book, brain rot refers to a general decline in mental effort among the population. Okay, so we have a vocabulary word, decline. Now this is a noun, so what is a decline? It just means something going down or something that is becoming less or fewer or weaker or something like that. It could also be used as a verb, like there was the stock market declined yesterday, right? And it just became smaller or something like that. So an example sentence was, there was a decline in sales last month.
Right, exactly. And speaking of what is declining, we're talking about the word mental decline, right? So while a lot of times people think of decline as it's kind of like a physical thing declining, like money maybe, right?
Right.
But in this case, we're talking about mental. And anything mental is relating to the mind. And our minds, our mental states can also decline. So when you're happy, you're great. But when you feel like your mental state is declining, that means you're having tough days. You can't shower anymore. You don't even brush your teeth. You can't even change your clothes because your mental state has declined to a new level. So for example, you could say stress can have a serious effect on your mental health. Okay, so continuing on with the article. However, in today's digital age, the term usually refers to the low value content that is typically found on social media. So actually, before we were talking about using, technology, social media, but not only is that part of it, it's what we're watching.
Yeah.
We're not watching documentaries.
It's like this stuff is brain rot because it's going to rot your brain. It's going to make your brain like not as sharp as it used to be.
If you watch a documentary, you're learning something.
Exactly. You're kind of learning something. You're not just
Or if you're watching our show right now, you're learning something.
Exactly. You're on an incline, not a decline.
Yes.
Right? Okay. We also have another vocabulary word, digital. Now, digital is an adjective. It means using a system of receiving and sending information as a series of the numbers 1 and 0.
Binary, right?
So binary, so just 1 and 0, showing that an electronic signal is there or is not there.
Right.
So for example, you could just say the man used a digital camera to take a picture.
As opposed to film camera.
To a film camera.
Right, exactly. And then we also have this word content. And notice that because we're saying content, the intonation is going down, we're not saying the word content. Right. So content is referring to things that are included in something like information or even a physical objects like the objects in your backpack. Okay. So for example, the video's content was fun and easy to understand, aka what the video was about.
Right. And going back to using content as an adjective, that just means that you're feeling happy, comfortable, something like that. So try not to get the two confused because they are homonyms. They have the same sound when you say they're spelt the same, but actually have different pronunciations and meanings. Okay, why don't we take a short break and we'll be right back.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。在2024年，牛津大学出版社将 brain rot 脑腐选为年度代表字，那这是什么意思呢？其实 brain rot 第一次的使用记录是在 Henry David Thoreau 1854年的书籍《湖滨散记》当中。这个书里面呢 ，brain rot 指的就是全体居民在心智努力方面普遍衰退。不过在当今的数位时代，这个词呢，通常用来指说在社群媒体上面常见的低价值内容。好，我们来看单字 mental。mental 它是形容词，形容心理上的或者是精神的。digital 则是形容数位的、数字的。Shane 老师在讲解单字时有提到 binary，B-I-N-A-R-Y。binary 可以形容电脑是二进位的，或者是形容二元的。下一个单字 content。content 它可以表达书籍、影片、演讲等等它的内容，这时候是不可数名词。那 content 也可以指内容物或者是目录，这时候固定用复数型。那注意这个单字当形容词要念作 content，content 则是形容满足的、满意的。好，那么 Shane 老师这时候就提到这个字其实是 homonym，H-O-M-O-N-Y-M，homonym 可以指这个同形或同音的意义词。好，那接回到课文中。
It also refers to the harmful impact that over-consuming this type of content can have. In several studies, too much screen time was shown to negatively affect a person's development, memory, and ability to function in society. Brain rot can affect people of any age or background. For example, a teenager who spends too much time on TikTok may find it harder to focus on homework, which could result in lower grades. Similarly, adults might spend a lot of time looking at news feeds late at night instead of sleeping. Over time, these habits can reduce productivity and creativity, lower attention spans, and even make people feel unhappy.
Welcome back from the break. Before the break, we actually learned about this word or phrase called brain rot. And while it sounds very modern, it actually isn't a new word at all. The first time that we have heard of this word is actually Henry David Thoreau's 1854 book, Walden. Yeah. So it refers to kind of your mental state, your mind kind of going down and getting worse. You know, you're not bubbly and happy. But today we use brain rot to talk about mindless scrolling, and not only the act of scrolling social media and an over usage of it, but the stuff that we are watching and looking at isn't really the highest quality.
Right. Okay, so let's continue. It also refers to the harmful impact that over-consuming this type of content can have. So what you were kind of just talking about is that we're using it all the time, and it's we could say over-consumption. You know, we're doing it too much, and that can have a harmful impact. Now, if we say something is harmful, it just means causing damage or injury to somebody or something, especially to a person's health. Or it could even be to like the environment or something, right? So this is harmful to our brain when we are just doing this mindless scrolling.
It might not be a physical punch in the face, but it's doing some damage.
That's right. So for example, you could say eating too much junk food can be harmful.
And we have this verb to overconsume. Obviously, we have the word over, which means you're doing it too much. And when we're saying consume, we usually are talking about eating, but in this case, you could also
take in.
You could be taking something in, reading, watching, or buying. So you know, if you usually consume a healthy amount, that's fine. But over-consuming means you're using too much, more than you need. Okay, so continuing on, in several studies, too much screen time was shown to negatively affect a person's development, memory, and ability to function in society. And of course, when we say screen time, we're talking about the amount of time we're literally looking at phones, computers, TVs.
That's right. Wow. So it really does affect your memory or ability to function in society. This is really serious.
Or your attention span.
Yeah. Brain rot can affect people of any age or background. Now, if we're talking about somebody's background, that just means the details of a person's life, right? Like their family, education, experiences, etc. So for example, he comes from a poor background, but now he is very rich.
So his upbringing might not have been as successful, but later on he changed that.
That's right.
So continuing on, for example, a teenager who spends too much time on TikTok may find it harder to focus on homework, which could result in lower grades, which then results into him maybe not doing so well, and finding a job could be harder for him.
That's right. Yeah, you need to get good grades. Similarly, adults might spend a lot of time looking at news feeds late at night instead of sleeping.
I'm talking to you, Dad. Stop scrolling.
Is he scrolling in his bed before he goes to bed?
He's scrolling and then falls asleep, phone hits him in the head.
Oh boy. Yeah, because that could happen a lot. And they say, especially the screens, they say that they have like blue light that will help to keep you awake while you should be sleeping.
Exactly. Okay. And continuing on, over time, these habits can reduce productivity and creativity, lower attention spans, and even make people feel unhappy. For one, I'm kind of bragging, but I think I do have a very healthy screen time and real life time balance.
Okay, that's good.
And you know why?
Why?
My eyes get sore if I look too long. So my body has a natural way of kind of saying, hey, it's time to sleep.
Yeah, or it's time to just, start blinking and
Yeah.
Stop staring at a screen.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have for part 1, but hey, we've got part 2. So you got to make sure you join us for that, and we will see you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
刚刚说，在现今数位时代 ，brain rot 脑腐这个词通常用来指在社群媒体上常见的低价值内容。那它也会用来指过度吸收这一类内容可能带来的有害影响。在好几项的研究当中，过多的萤幕时间显示会对一个人的成长、记忆还有社会运作能力产生负面影响。那脑腐可能会影响任何年纪或背景的人。举例来说，在 TikTok 上面花费太多时间的青少年，可能就会发现更难专注在作业上。那么成年人可能会花很多时间在深夜看动态消息而不睡觉。那长久下来，这些习惯可能就会降低生产力和创意，缩短了专注时间，甚至会让人感到不快乐。好，文中它有用到 attention span 这个用法呢，就表示注意力的持续时间，也就是一个人能够维持专注的时间。再来看单字 harmful 是形容有害的、有害健康的。background 表示背景或是学经历。Winnie 老师这时候有提到 upbringing 这个字 ，upbringing 它表示教养或是养育。那补充单字 overconsume 这个动词它表示过度摄取，其中的字首 over 就有超过的或是过度的意思。我们其实可以顺便学一下这个形容词 excessive。excessive excessive 是形容过度的、过量的，那它的副词 excessively 就可以表达过度地或是过量地。另外，老师们刚刚也有提到那种无意义滑手机的行为，那我们可以学一下这个动词 scroll。scroll scroll 这个动词就有滚动、滑动，像是滚动、滑动这个网站页面或文件的意思。那这边有3个重点，我们进入文法时间。我们来看第一个重点是 be shown to 加上原形动词，表示被证明会怎么样。动词 show 在这边表示显示、证明，它用在被动语态时可以表达公认啊，或是经过证实的看法。另外也常常会用 believe、say、think 等等来替换 show， 去表达说据信怎么样，据说怎么样。那我们就来造2个例句。Regular exercise has been shown to have many health benefits. 规律运动已被证实有许多健康益处。The plant is said to improve sleep quality. 据说这种植物能改善睡眠品质。那第2个重点是 spend 表示花费的用法。动词 spend 它的3态是 spend、spent、spent。那主动的时候要用人来当主词哦。那它的句型会是 spend 加上时间、金钱或精力加上动词 ing。那这动词 ing 的部分也可以把它换成 on 加名词。例如 Zach spent the whole day reading comic books. Zach 看了一整天的漫画。He spent most of his money on comic books. 他大部分的钱都花在漫画上。那第3个要介绍的是 find it 形容词加上 to be， 这个句型其实是源自于 find 加受词加形容词，表达说觉得什么什么是怎么样的。当这个受词是不定词 to be 时，我们要用 it 当虚受词来代替那个受词的位置，然后呢，再把真正的受词 to be 移到形容词后方，也就会形成 find it 形容词 to be 的句型了。例如 Jenny found it hard to focus in class. Jenny 觉得在课堂上难以专注。好，那么以上这节讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
In 2024, Oxford University Press chose brain rot as its word of the year. But what does brain rot mean, and how does it affect us? The first recorded use of brain rot is found in Henry David Thoreau's 1854 book, Walden. In the book, brain rot refers to a general decline in mental effort among the population. However, in today's digital age, the term usually refers to the low-value content that is typically found on social media. It also refers to the harmful impact that over-consuming this type of content can have. In several studies, too much screen time was shown to negatively affect a person's development, memory, and ability to function in society. Brain rot can affect people of any age or background. For example, a teenager who spends too much time on TikTok may find it harder to focus on homework, which could result in lower grades. Similarly, adults might spend a lot of time looking at news feeds late at night instead of sleeping. Over time, these habits can reduce productivity and creativity, lower attention spans, and even make people feel unhappy.
Kiki, are you okay? You look really scared.
I'm shaking in my boots.
What's wrong?
I just got an email from Sabrina. She said, meet me in the office. We need to talk.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's time to work on our translations, and today's topic is expressing fear. So our first one is 这部电影看得我超毛的。
This movie is really spooky.
Spooky.
Ooh. This movie makes me feel scared. I feel this movie is freaking me out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, freaking me out. Okay. What about this? 吓得我鸡皮疙瘩掉满地。
Oh. I will say it's freaking me out. I have a lot of goosebumps on the floor.
Very good. Good try. What have we learned today?
The topic for today's translation is expressing fear. The first phrase is, the movie really freaks me out. The phrase freak somebody out can also be creep somebody out. This is used to describe something to be terrifyingly horrific or really, really scary. The second phrase, it gives me goosebumps. Goosebumps refers to the little bumps you get on your skin when you feel a sudden coldness or when you are shocked or scared. So, if you want to describe something to be very scary or someone getting shocked very badly, you can say that something gives somebody goosebumps. Another way to say this could be give somebody chills. And that's all for translations today. KiWi later!